radicals is the most important thing that you should learn before starting kanji. If you drill in that you're able to write flawlessly all the radicals, that will make your life so much easier, trust me.
There's your radicals, and then there's your other component that helps with the reading, the sound of the kanji. So
Mm.
you have your radicals that help with the meaning, and then the part that helps with the reading. That's called the Onpu.
Rose of old Japan, I'm coming back to you. There in old Japan, you'll make my dreams come
And welcome back to the Nihon no Madoguchi Podcast with your host Domo and
Marty, what's up, everyone? What's up, Tomo? All good on your end?
yeah, I'm good. I'm good over here. It's starting to get hot, but it's also
Mm,
raining over here. We're getting into that rainy season here in Japan. Mold starts to grow. It's all humid outside. Skin is all sticky.
mm,
It
lovely.
sucks. I won't lie to you, but it is cool out. It's not as hot as the impending summer will be.
Yeah,
Not looking forward to that.
yeah. I know that you don't like the summer weather, especially in Japan.
It's true. It's true. I'm definitely not looking forward to it. And for you guys who are outside of Japan watching our podcast and want to come to Japan just to vacation, just to hang out, have some good times, just to avoid July, June, July, August, September maybe as well. From June to September,
Don't
it's
come.
just hot and it's raining. It's raining, then it's hot. Don't do it. Especially going to Tokyo. Oh goodness.
It's very
Don't
hot in Tokyo, yeah. But with that stated,
uh
I see that you have a nice and fancy cup over there that may or may not be related to
oh,
today's topic. So I guess
it is indeed.
that could be a very nice transition to our main topic of today. Actually, do you want Domo to bring the presentation to us on what we are going to talk about
Sure.
today?
Oh, most definitely. So the cup that Marty was talking about here is one that you'll probably see in Japan if you go to any type of sushi restaurant.
Hmm.
This is a cup that has all not all, a lot of different fish related kanji on them.
Hmm.
So how can you tell that it's fish related? On the left side, it has the kanji for fish written right there, so you know it's related to fish some way in some way. And it has I don't think I've ever counted this. I would say probably over 30, well over 30, maybe 30, 40 different kanji on this cup, and they all represent a different type of fish. Um, and how is that related to today's topic, you ask? Well, today we're going to be talking about a subject that's near and dear to my heart, uh, kanji, and specifically how we've learned kanji, our kanji journey from beginning to up until where we are currently.
Hmm.
And we all know that kanji is the bane of a lot of Japanese learners'
Very
existence.
much so.
Um, right, very much so, and we get it. We've been there. We we've been there, we've experienced it, and we decided to stay on because we're masochists, right? We decided to keep going and push through the kanji, no matter how
Exactly.
hard, how much it hurts. Uh, um, but right, along with the other two writing scripts, hiragana and katakana, kanji is a different beast. It's a different type of monster altogether. So today we're just going to be talking about our experiences with learning kanji.
Yeah.
Uh, the good and the bad, and how we kind of learn kanji now. Like,
Hmm.
what are we doing now that we're not even in the classroom anymore? What do
Yeah.
we kind of go? How do we go about learning new kanji and things like that? So let's start off with you, Marty.
Sure.
You want to just take us through your the beginnings.
The
When you
beginnings.
got to kanji, like we learned hiragana, katakana, right? It's like
Sure,
quite
sure.
quick. But when you got to kanji, were you excited?
No,
Like, oh, now we're
no,
getting to the
no,
pictograms, right?
no,
Or
no.
we have the answer. Why weren't you excited? Take us through what was going through your mind when you got to
Uh,
kanji, when we started learning kanji.
so it was in university. So must be said that I
Mm-hmm.
was, I think, 21 or 20 when I started studying Japanese. So
Mm-hmm.
relatively late if you consider the brain activity, the brain formation,
Sure, sure.
because at that point already knew how to speak Italian, French, and English relatively fluently. Japan was another, I mean, completely out of the how do I want to say, the it was very off the track, if you want to say, compared to the language that I
Sure,
know.
yeah,
It was a completely
yeah.
different family of languages,
Very different.
a completely new graphic system, but also grammar and concept wise. So very much different
Mm.
from my language learning habits, because I
Yeah, yeah.
usually learn language more on the active side, as I think I've
Mm.
said in previous episodes as well. So right off the bat, the way I was taught to learn kanji was to basically memorize them. You write them
Mm.
and you memorize every single kanji as if it was a picture. They didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
give us much rules or much tips and tricks on how to do it. I will come back to that later, because I have a couple of tips
Mm.
to people that want to start studying kanji or maybe are struggling with
Mm.
that. But at the time, they vaguely skimmed through the fact that kanji were composed of radicals and regular patterns.
Yeah.
I remember one of our teachers told us that there are some key elements like radicals that give the pronunciation to the kanji. For example, go as in five, when you find go within any kanji, to always give the go pronunciation, like gengo, gengo no go.
Mm.
It's the radical for to speak, you, with go
Yes.
and the mouth at the bottom, and you pronounce that go because there is this five kanji in the, I mean, radical in the middle. So all this, they didn't really focus much on that at the very beginning. So the idea
Yeah, of course,
was
yeah.
just memorize kanji the way you memorize katakana and hiragana. And I have a
Mm.
really exceptionally bad photographic memory for this kind of stuff. So I'm not dyslexic, but I am borderline. I'm that close to have a small dyslexia that is not impacting in my everyday life. I can write all the alphabets without issues. I can recognize the letters and I don't mix numbers, but it's not the easiest. My photographic memory is not the best memory that I have. So for me, it was,
Mm.
and it is still to this day, very difficult learning process. Kanji is the bane of my existence, and I think and legitimately I did not pass N1 because of my kanji skills, or lack of, I would
Ah,
say. Yeah, yeah. So what about you,
ah.
Dom? I think you on that we are extremely different. Is that I cannot
Yeah.
handle kanji, and you're like the kanji master of our circle of friends. So what about you, Domo? How come you came to like kanji this much?
That's a really great question because like I had said earlier, most foreigners do not like
No.
kanji. Mainly kind of almost exactly for the reasons that Marty had mentioned. They're kind of like pictures.
Mm,
And you have to you have to borderline just memorize them. Like especially if you come from a English speaking background or like Marty coming from one of the background of the
mm,
romance languages. They don't they they don't work like Japanese. Japanese is a completely different beast. in that regard, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have like the alphabet like we would like we consider or that we're used to, right? And maybe hiragana and katakana, they're easy to kind of like wrap your head around because they do work. Each syllable, each sound doesn't have a meaning on its own, right? Like our alphabet,
Right.
A B C D
Mm-hmm.
I U A O, right? It works similarly. You use those to make words like you do in English or in French or in Italian. But when you get to kanji, one symbol has a whole meaning and it has a multiple reading,
Mm.
and then it starts getting crazy. You're like, what? It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around. But for me, that was cool. That was a cool part about kanji. The fact that you could write like moon, four letters in English, but with one symbol in Japanese. That was
Mm.
really like really interesting to me. And the the thing that really made me like, I don't know if it was really I don't know if this was really the thing that made me like kanji, but I
Mm-hmm.
will say this played a very big part. So during my I guess it was my first year learning Japanese. So we got the hiragana, katakana. Now we're one of the basic kanji, right? Or maybe it's my second year. No, it was my first year. And my Japanese teacher, because I started studying Japanese in high school, as you
Right.
guys know. My high school Japanese teacher, she every now and again at the end of each section, she would have us go up to, like compete to make sure we can write our kanji and stuff like that because
Right.
we have to we have a test and stuff like that. And before the test, she'll have us play a game, split us into two groups, aka owl,
Mm-hmm.
and we would compete, to see who could write the kanji, the words the fastest. And she would always say, if you can't remember the kanji, you can just write the hiragana. So, like, say she said sakana.
Right.
If you couldn't remember sakana, you can just write sakana in hiragana, and it would still be fine.
Mm.
But I had this kind of pride where I would never write the hiragana because I only want to write the kanji. And so it gets to my time. It's probably my first time going up, and she knows that I like kanji. It was not a hidden, like it wasn't a secret.
Right.
Everyone knew that I was interested in kanji. I thought it was cool or whatever. And the first kanji that she told us to write, or told me to write
Mm-hmm.
anyway, because she knew the easy kanji weren't, at least the kanji that we had studied up to that point, like he and ski would be too easy. So she picked one of the more difficult ones amongst the ones that we already knew,
Mm-hmm.
and that one was
Kaeru.
kaeru. Kaeru. I forgot what the okurigana for this is. I'm just gonna write the kanji. Kaeru, right? Um, and she said, write kaeru. And I kid you not. So the person next to me, they couldn't remember the kanji, so they wrote in hiragana.
Right.
And I wrote kaeru, the kanji,
Mm-hmm.
faster than they could write the three hiragana. And
さすが。
I was like, oh yeah, from this day forward, I am the kanji master, or at least I will aim to be that.
Lovely.
I don't think even now I don't think I'm the kanji master.
Mm.
If for you guys who are aware, I do have a Instagram account called the Kanji King.
Yeah.
And I haven't posted on it recently because I haven't really been studying kanji. I've been doing a bunch of other things, preparing to possibly get a new job and stuff like that. So I haven't really been able to focus on my kanji studies. So I haven't really been posting on there. But that doesn't mean I'm not studying kanji. I'm still like um unofficially studying kanji, just not for the kanken,
Right.
right? And yeah, that was my origin story. Writing, at least for us at the time, a very difficult kanji kaeru before they could even write three hiragana. I was like, yes,
Lovely.
I was like, yes, I did
Excellent.
it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn all the kanji now.
Mm.
I have to. It
Mm.
has to happen. And I will say, our teacher was a little bit different than yours, and
Right.
it might be because English speaking teachers, teaching English speaking students,
Yes.
um, they know that to kind of memorize these kind of
Mm.
I don't know what it's like for non-English speaking countries like France and Italy,
Right.
but most English speaking Japanese classes they learn kanji through mnemonics, at least the
Mm.
initial the beginning ones. So like the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are just kind of like you kind of like they do have mnemonics for them.
Yeah.
I don't remember them, but
Mm-hmm.
we do learn those through mnemonics, and then you learn sun. It looks like a sun. Moon. It looks like a moon. Woman looks like a woman crossing her legs over.
Right.
Right. You kind of go through it like that, and I'll tell you this. Um, I was I was so arrogant, I guess is the word, that I hated mnemonics. I
Mm.
was like, oh, you guys have to use mnemonics to memorize kanji? Brute force for me. I just write it out and I got it. I got it memorized. And I took up until relatively recently did not think that mnemonics really helped with
Ah,
kanji learning until recently, and I'll get into that story later.
interesting. Interesting.
I'll talk to you guys about what the revelation that I had, but yeah. That's my origin story, right? I learned how I wrote Kaido really fast, and I was like, I'm gonna write all the kanji really fast from here on out.
That was like
Um,
the how do you say it? I think there is a saying in English, a match made in heaven or something like that, like a perfect
oh
match
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
Indeed, yeah,
saying.
yeah. Match made in heaven.
Oh, you and Kanji were a
That was
match made in heaven.
me and Kanji. We were like this. We were like
Excellent.
this. Me and Kanji, we were locked in. And we
Oh,
still locked in. It's not past tense. It's still to today.
I envy you so
Yes,
much.
sir.
You have no idea how I envy you on that.
It, it's weird. I don't. A lot of Japanese people, and actually, this is kind of related to how I got the opportunity to apply for the current company that I applied for.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a career fair, and at the end of everything, I was trying to write down some contact information for someone. Um, and he saw me writing out all the information in kanji. I was
Mm,
kind of like, ooh,
that's
ooh.
good
He
points.
was like, oh,
Wow.
he's like, oh, you can write. I wasn't trying to impress him. I was just trying to write the stuff down. And he was
Right.
like, oh, you can write kanji. I was like, I mean, yeah. He's like, oh, most foreigners can't write kanji. And
Exactly.
is that right? Is that true? I don't. I mean, I know kanji is difficult, but I imagine most can write a lot of the basic kanji.
Mm,
Maybe elementary level kanji, probably like the first couple hundred or something.
yeah.
Um, I guess when you get into like upper intermediate kanji, then yeah, it does start getting difficult. But um, I really wonder like how, and it might be because I was surrounded by people like a lot of crazy people in JTW, and also surrounded by a lot of crazy people on the JET program.
Right.
Uh, but I'll actually wonder how many people can't write kanji, like among foreigners, like amongst
Right.
foreigners who are studying Japanese who can't write kanji. Because everyone that I mean, aside from like the AOTs, because I know a
Mm,
lot of them just don't know Japanese, all the CIRs obviously can write kanji. And I'm usually around the CIRs most of the
right.
time. So I think I've gotten too used to a bunch of really, Nihongo Jozu foreigners, and it's
Mm,
just natural that we can all write and speak. And I've kind of like lost the plot. I no longer see the foreigners who aren't able to do that as much,
right.
and maybe I'm out of touch now. I'm too far gone into the kanji realm that I
It's
can't even imagine what it's like to not write kanji.
it shows
I need
that
to
you don't spend enough time with
I need to
me
go back.
because I will drag you back to that level anytime soon. No,
No,
no
you can
sweat
write
needed.
kanji. You can
I
write
I
kanji.
can't. I can't. So it is interesting because for me, I cannot write kanji. I cannot read kanji, as in, if you ask me to read loud, I always struggle with the pronunciation, but I can understand kanji.
Mm.
So
So you
usually
know what they mean. Oh, okay,
I
okay.
can read a book. I mean, depending on the topic, of course, because if you give me a
Yeah, yeah,
book on physics or specific words, that will be a little bit beyond me.
yeah,
But
of
I would
course.
say that I can read a novel in Japanese and understanding about 80% of what I'm reading. Basically, out of sheer context. Like, I'm reading a sentence, I understand 80%, and then this word, I'm not sure what it means, but in this context, kind of means that. So, by
It probably
proxy,
means this.
I
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
understand. So, I can read a book in my mind. But if you ask me to read loudly a book,
Interesting.
probably a 10 years old would be better than me at reading the book, simply because I have I think my biggest challenge or my biggest issue with kanji is that I really struggle in matching the picture and the sound is supposed to have.
Mm.
Also because 95% of the kanji can be read the same way. The amount of show, the amount
True,
of kanji that
true,
you read
true.
show, should, show, and chu is abominable. Like, of course,
Yeah.
when you're in doubts, that is a tip that is not working very well, but a broken tips. Whenever you don't read, whenever you doubt and you have no idea how to read a kanji, throw in a show or a chu. It works. 90% of the time it doesn't work, but sometimes it works.
I I will say, like I can read kanji. I can
Mm,
read. I would say, I don't know. I don't know how many I could read, but when it comes to reading books or even manga or
mm,
anything like that, my reading speed is abysmal.
ah,
It's super slow,
yeah.
and I'll like especially if it's not something I'm used to, right? Like again, like you said,
Mm,
physics or something related to a subject I'm not familiar with. It's even more so that. And a lot of times, like I'll especially if say it was a physics thing and they're talking about, you know, antimatter or something.
mm,
A lot of times I can reading science based text is actually quite easy in terms of
mm,
like the pronunciation of the kanji, the readings of the kanji,
right,
because they're usually onyomi. A lot of them are the Chinese compound characters, right?
right,
Uh, but I might not have any idea what it means. I could probably piece it together based on the kanji that that
right.
it's using, but um, I'll be able to read it and have no idea what they're talking about.
Mm.
Um, so it's the opposite
The
then.
opposite, yeah.
I'll be able to read all of it, but like I'm like, what are we
I have no
talking
idea
about
what's
right
happening.
here? Like
Yeah,
what's going on?
yeah.
And it's similar in novels as well.
Mm,
Which is why I tend to avoid fiction books.
ah,
It might actually help me to read more fiction books. A lot of the books that I own are nonfiction books, except for
mm,
manga. And maybe like I have a book called Demo, um, which is a novel, a quite a popular novel in Japan apparently.
mm-hmm.
Um, and so maybe reading more fiction novels would help me, but a lot of times I can't follow because a lot of times they
Right.
omit the subject and it's like
Mm,
who's doing what, when, where. I get
ah,
too in the weeds. I'm like, who? Wait, what am I reading here? And
right.
I have a similar thing in English too. Like it might just be a focus thing. I'll read a couple of sentences and I'm like, what did I just read? I got to go back to the top and read
I
again. I
hate
might
that.
read a whole page. What's going on? And I have to go back and reread it because I'm not locked in.
Mm,
And that's even more so in Japanese, right?
mm.
I have to really focus, put my mind to it. And so when I'm really focused, my reading speed slows down
Dwindles, yeah.
immensely. And so and like a lot of my no 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 no. I'll be like reading something in
Mm,
front of Eriko or something.
mm-hmm.
And or like maybe like we're looking at something on the screen together,
Right.
like on our phone screen or something, and I'm reading it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Eriko reads super fast. I know she's probably like way past me, but I'm reading it real slow. And when I get like caught on a word, she'll like Because a lot of kanji, so kanji, they have this weird thing where the 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 rule of thumb for reading kanji is if it's on its own, it's the kunyomi. When it's with another kanji, it's the onyomi, right?
The rule of
But
thumb.
there's a whole like mountain of exceptions, and they even have names for those exceptions. There's something called the jubako yomi in the yuto yomi, I think is what it's called. And jubako is when the kanji is read with the onyomi and the kunyomi, and then the yuto yomi is when it's read with the kunyomi and the onyomi.
Oh, damn.
So kun on kun, and there's so many like examples of those. And I'm like, if it's a word I don't know, I try to assume if it's like a compound, it's probably on. And then I'll read something out loud on, and then she'll in Ediko, she'll correct me all the time and be like, no, it's this. And I'm like,
God damn it.
okay, all right. I, yeah, I wasn't gonna get it. You know, I assumed it was on. I made a mistake. Kanji's hard, you guys,
It's
but
very hard.
it's I guess a tip. This is Marty gave you guys a tip. Tip from me would be for your onyomis. Marty he had touched on it at the beginning of the podcast. But there's your radicals, and then there's your other component that helps with the reading, the sound of the kanji. So you have your radicals that help with meaning, and then the part that helps with the reading. That's called the Onpu. What is that called in English? It's I forgot what the name is. It's the I mean this know it is the sound component, the meaning component and the sound component.
Right.
And if you say you know this kanji right here, this kanji,
Ken.
Ken no Ken, and you see this kanji, you've never seen it before, but you see, it has the same part as this.
Right.
You're like, I don't know what it is, but it has the same part here. 9 times out of 10, it's read the same way.
Exactly.
In terms in its onyomi. It's kunyomi. This does not apply to the kunyomi. It only applies to the onyomi. So this is read as ken. This is also read as ken. This is also read as ken. This is also read as ken. What's different between these is the radical, the meaning component. The meaning component is the only thing that's different. The thing they share, this bit, if you see that, you can almost with certainty know that it's pronounced ken.
Exactly.
And that goes for a bunch of different other kanji as well. I won't get too deep in the weeds here, but that's just one tip as well. As long as you know the reading for one kanji that's similar to that, has a similar component, you might be able to get the reading for this kanji as well.
Exactly. And staying on the topic of radicals, another tip from my end, more on how to learn how to write them. And the earlier the better, actually, to implement this tip is that contrary to what I unfortunately was not able to receive in my formation in Japanese at the very beginning, transitioning right out of the bat from katakana, hiragana to kanji study, it's actually counterproductive because you will follow the same mnemonics as in, for example, when you have to learn hiragana and katakana, there is no other ways than to memorize the visuals because there is no other way. You just basically have to memorize how when you were a child you memorized A, B, C, D. The same way you have to memorize I, U, A, O, and so on and so on. But when you have this kind of forma mentis, when we have this kind of like structure or way of studying, and you transition, you would assume seamlessly into kanji study, you will apply the same kind of mnemonics, whether every kanji is its own picture. So there is no, and you have to memorize exactly how to write it. And that makes it so difficult because actually kanji is very similar to Lego or to a puzzle.
Mm.
They Every kanji is not a different picture. It's not like, for example, hieroglyphics, where every
Mm.
picture, like you have a bird, you have a stone, you have a
Yeah.
hand, you have, I don't know, whatever. But with kanji, it's actually way more bricked together. They are kind of a building blocks that are working together. You will never see
Indeed.
a picture, let's say, let's talk in terms of picture, that will be unique in its own. It is always built upon these radicals and Onpu. So
Mm.
every sign is not unique in its own. So there is a
True.
rule, there is a overall structure guiding how you write a kanji. And
Mm.
I probably would say that spending a couple of months before starting kanji, especially if you do it on your own, because if you do it at school, you have to follow whatever teacher says you to do, whatever are the teaching methods, and I'm not here to critique any particular teaching methods. But
Yeah.
if you're studying on your own, if you spend a couple of months memorizing the most common radicals and learning them, and depending on, because sometimes the same radical, depending on where you write it, whether it is we won't get in too much into the technicality of how they
Sure.
are
Sure.
named.
Yeah.
We say nanchara heng, nanchara kamuri.
Yeah.
Let this we will leave this probably to another episode. But the fact that if you learn to read kanji, not in the sense of being able to read them, but to being able to decodify what are the key components of the kanji, what is the radical, this is the radical, and learning how to write them independently will
Mm.
make your kanji study so much easy. So much easy. I remember that for the first 2 years of university, I was not able to remember kanji simply because I was trying to remember each one of them as individual
Yeah.
pictures,
Yeah.
and there is a limit to the capacity, the mental, unless you have some kind of spectrum of autism, or you have some very excellent spot on picture memory that you can see one thing and you will remember it immediately. But like for a person that is not particularly good at picture memory and does not have
Yeah.
particular fixations, trying to remember 400 different pictures is close to impossible. It's not possible if you're trying to remember them on their own. But
Yeah.
down the line, if you break down kanji, you only have 40 key components, like building blocks, that you can use to write a kanji. And if you're able to write a kanji with all the keys, then memorizing
Yeah.
it, you spend way less time memorizing it. So radicals is the most important thing that you should learn before starting kanji. If you drill in that you're able to write flawlessly all the radicals, that will make your life so much easier, trust me.
You know, as you were talking about, radicals and how kanji aren't like there aren't standalone
Mm,
pictures, right? They're related to other pictures and in certain ways, and in other kanji in certain whether it be the reading or the radical. And one thing that really helped me, and this is something I discovered after coming to JTW, um, is that kanji learning and I mean language learning truly, in general, but for Japanese, specifically for Japanese, and specifically for kanji learning, pattern recognition is also important.
yes.
If you can learn to recognize patterns,
Mm,
um I think that will help save you so much stress, again, with the radicals, with the onpu, right? If you can recognize, oh, I remember that part was in this kanji, but I know it's not the radical because I spent a couple months learning the radicals, so it must be the reading component. So this must be and this is similar to this kanji, and so it must be pronounced this way. And then you look at the meaning, the radical, and you can probably figure out what it means as well, right? I think if you're able to learn how to apply pattern recognition to your kanji learning, it'll save you so much effort. Um, I mean, I don't know if it'll save you effort. It might save you some time. You do have to put in time initially
Yeah.
to have that knowledge in the first place. But once you have the knowledge, it will save you a lot of time down the road when
Yeah.
you're learning new kanji, right? When you're learning, when you see a word you've seen before, you're like, okay, I don't know what this means, but I can figure out how it's pronounced, and then go from there. Look at the meaning of each of each kanji, looking at the radicals, putting them together, using the context of the sentence to suss out a meaning, right? You'll be able to do all of that without too much issue. Because like if you come across a word you don't know the reading, you don't even know what it means. How are you gonna look it up, right? You can't even look it up at that point. Now we're in the age now where you can take pictures on Google Translate now,
Too
so
easy. It's not
it's
it's not a
it's
good way
become a
to
lot
learn it.
easier to look
Yeah.
things to get to learn to get the word. But back in the good old days, before we had that kind of stuff, kind of technology, you had to look it up on your own. And I mean, there were ways you could look it up if you know the meaning, of course, right? You can just pull out a dictionary, sure, but if you are able to, have that pattern recognition down,
Yeah.
and have your radicals down. Now, I'm not saying learn all the Onpu, but I will say there's there's 6 category of kanji. Um, the main categories are really only 4, and the one category that has the most different but the one category that has the most kanji is called the Keisei Muji. Those are the I'm forgetting all the English. Um Keisei Muji are the ones that I just showed you. The ones that share a similar component in a similar reading, right? Another example of this would be just to drive it home.
Gi.
Gi, righteousness. If you add the radical for to speak on the left hand of that, you get
Gi.
gi. You have the same component right here. This is the radical. This is the onpu. If you
一辺じゃない ?You can hand.
yes. See, look at that. Marty, no. Gi. This is also gi. This is the radical for person. This is the reading component gi. Has gi. Has gi. And the final one, just to drive it home, this is not a kanji that's used often, but it drives the point home. The one at the bottom. So Marty, do you know what this kanji is?
Mushi.
This is mushi, right?
Yeah.
But do you know what the whole thing is?
I may have seen it probably, but out of the blue like this, I suck at these kind of quizzes.
No, yeah, exactly, right. Now, the only thing that this will help you with is it's a bug and it's pronounced gi because it has the component. This is ari. This is the kanji for ants.
Ari ne. Ari.
And this now you wouldn't be able to get the kunyomi from this, but you would if you saw this kanji in the wild and you knew, okay, I see this part, and you know these 3 kanji. You're like, oh, I don't know what this is. I don't know what it means, but I know it has something to do with a bug, and its onyomi is probably gi because it has these.
Of course, yeah.
That's what the pattern recognition will help you do, right? Being able to differentiate. Goodness gracious, between the radical and the sound component, and whenever you come across a new word that you've never seen before, or a new kanji that you've never seen before, like a kanji out of context, right? You just found a new kanji. Oh, what is this? Trying to figure out what it means. So yes, please, uh, do as Marty suggested. Learn your radicals,
Yeah,
and I would even go as far as to say is try not at the beginning, because it might just be too much.
out of the blue,
To
yes.
do too much like information overload at the beginning. Um, but learning the radicals is uh, like fundamental. You need
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Once you get the radicals down, then you can go the next step and try to find those patterns with the Onpu, with the sound components as well. So
exactly.
yes, please do that.
And I
But
think that
I did want to.
was,
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I was
Yeah.
saying that that was a very nice conclusion for this episode because we are already overshooting our normal recording time. So I guess
Ah, yeah, yeah.
based on how much it was, this topic seems to inflammate Domo interest, we will definitely have one episode consecrated to kanji study that
Sure,
will
sure.
chiefly handled by Domo, because if you try to learn some kanji study from me, we will be very illy guided. So I don't think I am the good
No,
person to
no.
show you the way. But Domo is way better at this. But yes, maybe you wanted to add some little more. But is this opening a new field of discussion, or is towards a conclusion kind of, depending on what?
Yeah, it was opening up a new
Ah,
field of discussion, a field of discussion that was going to lead to a conclusion, but
ah.
maybe, uh, I don't know. I was gonna.
So I
I,
guess.
I'll let you answer. I'll let you
Aha.
answer,
All right.
and then we can close it out. So, as someone who isn't super
Mm-hmm.
Jozu with kanji, you're
Right.
not find it super easy or
Mm-hmm.
comes easy to you. But how do you go about studying kanji nowadays? Like, you say you were studying for the N1 and things like that. But what do your kanji studies look like now? Even especially in France. What is it? Korewa?
Like the
mm.
Google loading, the loading when the yeah, I've been
Okay.
slacking. I've been
Yeah.
slacking.
Yeah. Kanji is tough. Well, what like materials are you using recently, or maybe not even recently, but like when you were studying,
Yeah.
actively studying?
Honestly,
Um,
one
yeah,
there was one book that was very good. It was basically a collection of the 2000 kanji that are used
yeah,
in
yeah.
like everyday life, and that was very good because they had them all compiled by radicals. So that is
Yeah.
finally, after graduating university, that is when I finally realized the importance of radicals, and that is when I started to understand the bricks component. Another good app that I haven't opened in very long time was Kanji Study, which is a very good app
Oh
that
yes, of
it's
course, yeah.
been unfortunately locked away, but it's still in my phone. So
Oh, of course,
the
yeah,
intention is there, but I guess the most important, I think, would be consistency, which I'm very much lacking of. But being actively reviewing stuff, at least
yeah.
10 minutes a day every day. Kanji is more like a marathon. It's not a sprint. So it's not like you can cram
Mm.
kanji for a couple of months or a couple of years and then you're good to go. It's very much the opposite. Like it's very much endurance wise. So you have to keep doing it, keep doing. Otherwise, you will forget them. But yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
that would
oh
be
yeah.
my answer to your query.
I like that. I like that. I think that's a great way to.
Thank you.
Kanji is a marathon. I, obviously I'm not actively studying much kanji nowadays, but as you guys know,
Mm-hmm.
And haiku is a great way to learn kanji.
Mm.
There's a whole slew of kanji that aren't used in daily life. Um, and usually what I'll do is I'll come across a kanji and I'll put it in my field journal. Like I know Marty has a couple he has as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just to review it because these kanji are not kanji that I need, but it'll be cool if I did.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just used to go back and review and just look at every now. Ajisai, right? Um,
Right.
the flower, hydrangea. There's another way that you can write ajisai, but the reading's also different. It means ajisai,
Mm-hmm.
and it's written like this:
Oh, Yohira.
Yohira, Yohira. Came across it in a haiku. I was like, "What is this?" And I looked it up, and it said ajisai no besho, betsu no namae. I was like, "Okay, it's another
Mm-hmm.
cool." And I had never seen the kanji on the right a day in my life. I
Right.
probably wouldn't have been able to even guess what it meant. I had to look it up, but now I got it down thanks to haiku. And so that's another kind of another type of advice. This is just kind of like learning Japanese in general. Go and learn it through things that you enjoy,
Ah,
right?
most
You can
definitely,
learn
yes.
like if you like your hobbies and things like that. If you enjoy building toy models of things, go to the toy model side of Japanese internet and learn
Mm-mm-mm.
all the words and jargon and kanji that are related to that field.
Mm-mm-mm.
If you like physics, go the physics route. If you like haiku, go the haiku route. If you like yokai, go the yokai route, right?
Yeah,
If you like
definitely.
art, go the ukiyo-e
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
block print art. There's so many different ways you can go with it. And I think that would overall make your kanji uh, learning journey as well as your Japanese language learning journey much more enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's sum it up very well. The best advice is to learn through what you enjoy. So I think from my end, at least for these episodes, there is not much more to say. I think you wrapped it up perfectly well. And I suppose there is not a kanji for our concluding word, right? Or is there?
There is not. There is not. Unfortunately,
Ah, unfortunately.
if there was, I would know.
That would be awesome though, if there
If there
was.
was, that would be cool. That would be cool.
All
It's
right.
unfortunate. They
Unfortunate.
use a lot of hiragana down here.
Of course they do. I mean, all the Hyogen, I
Yeah,
think they have it in hiragana. But I guess
yeah, yeah.
since we don't have a kanji, we can just send you away and conclude this episode with our, as always,
So,
soy.